let's unmute this thing first. Hi, everyone. How are we doing? Sorry, I'm getting sorted with a potential co-caster here in a moment. At the dead second we started, it's Starladder. Season 11 Europe. We saw in game number 1, it was X-Game who fell short to Goomba Gaming, even though they tried to pull on through with their Naga. Goomba Gaming just looked too dang good. And now we're going to be in game number 2. And it's going to feature X-Game one more time, and this time they're going to be taking on the Hellraisers. Hellraisers, the strong favorite in this one, according to Dota2Lounge.com. They are at a 69% favorite over X-Game. I don't know if the last game kind of paid tribute to that a little bit, but let's go ahead and, without further ado, we will hop into the draft at hand. So sorry for my bit of stuttering here a bit. I want to make sure that we get everything square and underway. I mean, I might be able to try to call here. Might be able to have. Let's see if I can get a co-caster here for everyone. Let me just make a call happen here. And we'll see if it picks up or not. All right. Let me see maybe if I unmute this bad boy. I got no audio here. I might need to change over my options. That's the line that's going to be correct, and my speakers are going to be this one. Save. Hello, Blaze. Can you hear me right now?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, my good friend. How you doing?
Doing pretty swell.
I did not even realize you managed to sneak yourself into the lobby somehow. I appreciate that. I didn't acknowledge my Skype, and well, I was going to be a bit nervous about us using Skype, but it seems like it's going to be okay here. So hopefully I get you at a decent volume. I appreciate it so much for you joining me on such a late notice here, but it's Starladder Season 11 Europe, my friend. You excited to cast some Europe Dota with me?
Oh, most definitely. These teams have been actually really dynamic in their progression. Like X-Game, you know, looking at them a year ago, they had a different name, obviously, but they were like, they were one of those tier 2 teams. They're like, oh, they can't really do much. But we saw how much work they were able to perform in the previous game. And up against Hellraisers here, which is essentially the former Compass Gaming plus Dread, they've been actually making some waves as well. So really excited to see what these two teams bring to the table.
So last game, I don't know if you got to see it, X-Game took on Goomba. They tried to go with the Naga strat. They picked up Naga as their 3rd pick, and, well, it looked like Goomba just kind of had an idea of what they wanted. They went with a very, you know, just fine-tuned lineup. They had all bases covered. They got their Death Prophet. They had a Luna who managed to bring it out in the late game for them, but really it was just clearly their game from start to bottom, and it was a lot riding on Naga there at the end, but they had a cute little strategy to try to pull something out with like a song. They favored so much farm on the Disruptor to get an Agnum Scepter so they could just drop a Static Storm right on them, even if a BKB or not. And unfortunately, just never really seemed to work out, and they kept coming up short. So we'll have to see if X-Game this time go with something a bit more standard. They have a Faceless Void now and an Ogre, so you don't get much more standard than that. And for Hellraisers, they fire off with the Vengeful Spirit first grab. Every team now seems to really be on the Vengeful Spirit bandwagon again. We saw it a bit at the start of 6.82, but it's already back, and again, people are grabbing it up, and I don't hate it here, Blaze. You got Vengeful against the Faceless Void. That swap could be a lifesaver.
Yeah, most definitely. Vengeful Spirit's a really amazing early support. She's able to couple really well with the Elder Titan, with the Skywrath Mage, and with the Ogre Magi. A couple different ways, like the Venge with the Skywrath goes for Magical Burst Nuke, where you max your Magic Missile, and you just do as much damage as you can with the Skywrath. With the Ogre Magi, it's much more about enhancing your carry, getting Bloodlust and Vengeance Aura on them, and obviously the negative armor effect, and keeping them alive. So she plays that role pretty well, but I really am liking this Venge ET trend, where if there's a good ET support player, alongside this Vengeful Spirit, you've got enough to stable with the Magic Missile to dish out the damage, and the Wave of Terror plus Natural Order is absolutely insane. But here is a pick that I think is also quite promising. The Vengeful Spirit, Ancient Apparition, good early roam. Maybe you won't guarantee Cold Feet, but you'll get a lot of good right clicks off with your Chilling Touch. So pretty high expectations for the kill potential there, and of course AA is a great mid to late game support, as he just contributes so much with that ultimate.
Not even just mid to late game. Right off the bat at level 1, if you get that Chilling Touch, it's one of the best things to like move aggressively with. If you're a team that really likes to invade early, let's say X-Game fall through with a secondary support like a Enigma or a Sand King, where you know they're going to want to be in that jungle, you invade early to take away that jungle, and if you do go into an engagement, you feel like you have that much stronger of an arsenal just because you're adding so much damage with those right clicks to your whole team. I mean, at level 1, it's 50 damage for 3 strikes. You put that together with 4 members, and you're doing hundreds of top bonus damage, and it works out so good. But yeah, mid to late game also can contribute so much. I love the hero. I don't mean to brag here, Blaze, but in my most recent game, you can look it up on my Dota buff, I went 11-1 with AA. He's a pretty good hero. Not gonna lie. I mean, if you're shooting the Jays from downtown and you're catching big ice blasts, you're gonna hinder all sorts of sustain and healing on the side of xgame, and well, it doesn't make for an easier shot when you got a Faceless Void setting up the chrono for you.
Yeah, most definitely. So, I mean, even if it's the opposing chrono, you can use that as a zoning aspect, and you can always get those good ultis off. And the cool thing is, you mentioned a low death on your last stats, and that's because the hero can do so much from a distance. He doesn't have to get too far in the thick of things. He's not going to be feeding his life repeatedly, because he can always be, you know, halfway, like, half the map away from the fight and still make a huge contribution. I'm actually liking this trend nowadays where we actually see the Ancient Apparition kind of take a like kind of 2 or 3 position role after the laning phase. Like they go for 4-man Dota play without the Ancient Apparition. He picks up a hand of Midas and just kind of farms the jungle, contributing only with Ice Blast. And suddenly that guy's got an Aghanim Scepter, maybe a Yule's, and level 16. It's really cool.
Yeah, we'll see what they want to do with it from here, though. It's still relatively early. The initial team game plan isn't quite out there. Both teams not really revealing a whole lot of information outside of the Faceless Void, but nowadays it's, you know, a coin flip's chance that you're going to have a Faceless Void in your game, so most teams are well versed with it. And if they're not going to have access to getting a hold of a Skywrath Mage, they can go with the next best thing as far as being able to add huge damage inside the Chronosphere, and that's going to be the Witch Doctor here. I love it. You know, the Cask works very nicely as a reliable stun if timed properly. He's got good sustain with Voodoo Restoration, though that could be a bit of a pickle this game when you're going against an AA with that Ice Blast. But, you know, where it really hurts is being able to pull together a Death Ward. And I wouldn't be surprised if xgame, if they do very similar to what they did to the last game, where Disruptor was the one, it was equal, who took in all that farm and went immediately from like boots to Ags that quick. They'll probably do the same thing here with Witch Doctor.
Remaining.
That Witch Doctor Ags ult is just so good. And if you got a lot of people locked down with a Chronosphere, it can get ugly real quick.
Most
Reserve
definitely.
time.
But the Phantom Assassin is a really nice counterpick to the Void and the Witch Doctor. Of course, the Chronosphere no longer mutes her evasion properties, so Blur is going to be really good here. And it also will dodge Death Ward strikes, at least the initial strikes. If he gets level 16 or gets that Ags you're talking about, the bounces cannot be dodged. So obviously the Witch Doctor can just focus a target that's not the PA, and it will just bounce right to her. But at the same time, for the first 15 levels of the game, or pre-Aghanims, that the PA just kind of dominating. She has essentially twice the effective health against those two heroes. It's going to mind the Ogre to get some good multicasts on her to bring her low. And, of course, eventually she's going to get that BKB to render those useless. So it's going to be a little bit RNG on her part and seeing what she can contribute on the back of this Venge Ancient Apparition. It's also worth noting that she does have a nice little attack speed boost with her Phantom Strike, which will make it so that the Chilling Touch doesn't hinder her so much. Some cores, like Strength cores, have a really hard time getting those multiple auto attacks off when they're at negative 20,
Radiant
but PA
team
not
pick.
having too many difficulties there. Interesting pickup on the Magnus, though. It almost seems like they want to go offlane Void and safely Medusa.
It also feels like this Magnus was a bit of a counter pick. I think Hellraisers could have just as easily grabbed that Magnus for themselves. He had so much to Phantom Assassin with that Empower, and they did need a mid laner. If they weren't going to plan on putting this PA mid lane, which without access to a Wisp, you know, it's really hard to say why they want to kind of lane this one out. And plus, to be honest with you, I don't personally know Hellraisers enough to know how they usually like to kind of assess their laning and who goes where. So we'll have to see how that goes. But Magnus is going to be grabbed from xgame. They certainly can get a lot out of it. Of course, Faceless Void will benefit huge right-click damage from that Empower. And I know you were talking a bit about the burst potential that Ogre can put together. And, you know, just as I say that they could put farm potential on Witch Doctor for an Ags, they could just as easily do the same on someone like Ogre. He just adds so much burst later in the game with the Fire Blast. So, and we've seen it even picked up by some of the more prominent carry players like Fear recently on EG, and we saw the work it could do there. I'm not going to really be surprised if they kind of try to get him a bit more farm early. Now Hellraisers respond back. They get a hold of Nature's Prophet, so a bit more split push, kind of spreading the map across, you know, for xgame, where we saw them at their weakest last game was trying to put attention all over the place. They couldn't really come together as a unit and really be able to hone in a good, strong team fight like they like to do, which they have big team fight again here with xgame, you know, and if they get distracted trying to deal with a Nature's Prophet without a way to really get a hold of them, it could be quite troublesome.
Yeah. Really surprised the Medusa didn't get banned out there. Xgame has a really good opportunity if they want to go offlane Void to pick up a Medusa that gets Bloodlust, that gets Empowered, and that gets the RP or Chronosphere setup. Like, this is such a good game for her if they do want to go that route. And of course, Mantis is, as we saw last game, one of those players that loves to go with the late game carry. So Gyrocopter's great, Medusa's great, both of them having a lot of potential, again, if the Void is the offlaner here. I guess Hellraisers could look at that a little bit too and say, okay, well, the Phantom Assassin could go mid and we could pick up something like a Spectre to go for the global strat. They've got the Ice Blast, the Wrath of Nature, already getting some good global damage out, but put, you know, a Sunstrike or a Haunt on top of that, and you're really going to be getting kills. Batrider's going to be the last pickup here for X Game. Like you said, it looks like more the Magnus was a denial pick for Hellraisers, making it so they can't synergize that PA and Magnus, as well as, I guess, the Magnus and the Ancient Apparition. But now they've got so much control on their lineup. I mean, you think the Chronosphere, the Lasso, the RP, these are controlling effects that last the entire game. You can't just BKB this off. PA is going to be under a lot of pressure here to maneuver about the fights very carefully, because if you're out of range of your Vengeful Spirit swap, if you are just in general in a bad position and get caught out, then you're going to have a really rough time of it.
You know, on one hand, I want to say this is great for X Game getting the Batrider. Wadafucka in the previous game played a Phoenix, which obviously Phoenix is a very new addition to Captain's Mode. Some teams may have a few rounds working with a Phoenix, but putting it into an actual competitive CM game, a lot of teams are obviously going to be very rusty. It seemed like Wadafucka did a reasonable impact with Phoenix, but not anything like you could see out of someone like a Batrider. So this is something that Wadafucka is probably a lot more comfortable with, though I do have to be a bit nervous picking a Batrider into someone like a Vengeful Spirit. It could be a bit daunting as far as being able to get a good setup there. And as I switch things over on our fancy overlay to the actual end game, it looks like we are going to get underway here. It's going to be Hellraisers taking on X Game. Oh, and also worthy to note, the last grab from Hellraisers was a Zeus, so you got all that huge burst potential. We'll see where things line up and where the chips will fall, as I'll just jump right in, Blaze, if you don't mind, into the introductions. On your Radiant side, it is going to be the Hellraisers. Now coming in for their first game of the day, it's going to be Gorek playing the off-lane Nature's Prophet. In your mid lane, we are going to have Afo Ninja playing the core Zeus. Bottom, we got Gotham. He's going to be playing your support AA. Dread, the popular streamer just behind, he's going to be playing your Vengeful Spirit. And to round out your Hellraiser squad, it's going to be Arts playing your Phantom Assassin, the Arcana Phantom Assassin as well, mind you.
Indeed. No contracts here, but I'm sure he's got a contract to kill on all 5 of these X Game members.
Absolutely.
Let's look at them. We're going to be seeing a quick pause come out, giving us a chance to introduce Wadafucka here down on the bottom lane. He's going to be running the Boots first Batrider in the off lane, already using an Observer Ward to block off the pull there, so maybe having a decent time to get level 3 or 4 before he rotates into the jungle. Up to that jungle, we're going to be looking at the Faceless Void here. Is going to be played by Mantis here, a nice carry hero that can take it late game very well with the Chronosphere, and he's going to be supported by Reeves on the Ogre Magi, as well as Witch Doctor played by Equal. That's going to finish us off with Stalgat here on the mid lane. A Magnus starting off with 6 Tangos and a Magic Stick. There is no way the Zeus is able to zone out the Magnus here solo.
Love the early stick grab right there. They know Afo Ninja is going to be bursting out it. At some point, you can't just count on Zeus's right click alone, especially when you're going against a Magnus. So X Game looked well prepared for this one. They'll chalk up last game to a bit of a warm-up and look to bounce back strong in this one, because with that last defeat, I believe it puts them down to 1-3. So they really need to get some slots there on the win column to at least put themselves near the top. It's only going to be the top 4 once again. They're going to move on to the potential playoffs, and the European division has the most stacked amount of teams. I mean, 16 teams here in the Europe division. A lot of teams that I have yet to even see play. I know next game, for example, I'm going to see the debut of a certain, what is their name? It's Euro something or other. I'm sorry, but I'm excited. It's going to be, it's been a while since I've gotten to really cast some European Dota, so I'm excited to flex my Dota prowess here. So as the lanes do settle, a Zeus matchup against Magnus in the mid lane. We're a bit nervous for this Zeus. In the off lane, Nature's Prophet will be zoned back pretty heavy here from these 3. I wouldn't be surprised if he considers forfeiting to the jungle at a reasonable time.
Yeah. So as far as the lanes panning out right now, I think that the Wadafuck is actually going to get zoned pretty hard, as they're investing a lot into knocking him back. But since I don't have the pull unlocked, eventually he's still going to be able to get the experience he needs, as long as he sticks around. He kind of has fallen back to go for, I don't know, I guess an ancient stack, but no, not even that. I really don't know what
for the jungle.
Can you even jungle level 1 as Batrider? Like, you could take down a small camp, but you can't even stack it up, really. The Satyrs are a nice spawn for him, but even still, like,
he'll need help.
I'm not
maybe a cast from Witch Doctor could help him start things off, at least to get his level 2. But I agree, he's only going to be on stack duty at the start of this one, and he's still got like almost a minute before he can get that stack in. This is a lot of time moving around the lanes and not finding farm or XP for yourself. And Gorak here, like a man, trying to think he can right-click it to Ogre, but Ogre is the bouncer of this lane. He will force Nature's Prophet all the way back. He's got his boots, so he's looking to go on the move pretty quick. We could see him make traction elsewhere and maybe try to add pressure towards the mid lane Zeus and keep Afro Ninja back. I'm curious, though, to see of which team, which one's going to look to kind of rotate early. I'd have to say it's more favor for xgame. AA is not really the best at being able to gank it about, but Dread could do something on this Vengeful Spirit, but with no smoke, I imagine any sort of aggressive early movement is going to be coming from the side of the Dire.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at bottom lane, there is a bunch of experience heading the way of the Dire Tier 1, and I feel like that's something Battler could have capitalized on, but end of the day, he found his level 2 via that Satyr camp, kind of a lucky spawn for him, and he does get this stack off here, so he's going to be able to get to work, albeit slowly, on building that up, maybe getting his Tranquils up first, and waiting for that next big wave to head his way. For now, though, Venge is going to be able to unlock the pull, go for this 213 pull. Oh, that range. Oh, that hero's range is so frustrating. 400 attack range, and you get slowed by the ghost, but at the end of the day, he still gets the pull off, and will be able to get some nice experience if he pulls it through.
Yeah, being able to work with that creep aggro, just trying to get the hit there close enough so the creeps can get pulled. Vengeful are able to get it to the pull camp and be able to work with that creep equilibrium quite a bit. He'll do the full pull through. Nothing is going to be blocked right there, but top lane, the pressure also continues to mount up right here. Xgame kind of really taking it all the way near the tower. Nature's probably happy with this, though. Has at least something to work with on trying to get a few right clicks for himself. He's 3-0 right now on this NP, and he's got to be careful here. Look who's taunting just nearby. We got Kala right here on Ogre. I was expecting him to go early. He's only level 1, mind you, with just Ignite. He thinks that maybe if Nature's probably pushes a little too far forward, he can just blitz in from behind and they can go for a kill, but we'll have to see how long he's willing to wait for this one.
Yeah, it's worth noting, of course, that he has 6 armor right now, so he can take quite a few tower shots without too many repercussions, but they have to make sure he's in the right position for it, as their only reliable stun is going to be that cask right now to cancel the TP if Gorak has mana, which he will. Whatafug did unfortunately rotate at a time where he missed that second stack. If he had rotated, like he went back bottom lane, then went back to his jungle, and was only like 5 or 6 seconds late for that stack. If he had gotten a triple there, I think he'd be really good, because I mean, you see these 10 napalm stacks, he's invested a lot of mana, decent amount of time, and he is going to be able to farm up some good gold, but it could be 50% higher if he had just gotten that extra stack off.
They are making the go here. Or they're trying to make the go on Gorak, but he just finally makes it a little too far. He had been scouted out from the little tree on. They saw the Ogre on the side, so he had great position well behind the tower, but xgame were persistent. They tried to still make an engagement happen, and they couldn't get him. So Ogre is going to be waiting that much longer. He does see a bounty rune here at the top, which he'll wait out for his mid laner to grab up. That's going to be a nice easy grab for their Magnus right here. And for the other side of the mid lane, however, Zeus grabs up the one on the bottom, being an invis rune. Zeus is at 24-2 to Magnus's 19, so he does have a bit of the upper hand, but Magnus isn't going to be going down. He continues to build up the charges on the wand and should have a lot of sustain on his side. And I think he's willing to accept that he might lose a bit of CS in this, tussle in the mid lane, but when the mid game approaches, he'll feel pretty confident at that point.
Yeah, but down bottom, we're going to see the push come through. They do not have a Basilius ring to enhance the armor of the creep wave, but they still have this big wave with 1 point in Vengeance Aura and the phase boots on PA. So they're going to be able to right-click to tower down very quickly. Will bring it below half HP considerably here, and with these 2 range creeps, if they time it well, I think they actually could finish in this wave, only taking a few tower shots here and there.
No one even close. No one's been close. This bottom lane has been pretty much a free spot, and I'm actually surprised to see Dread not really parting ways with this lane and helping out maybe mid a bit or top lane a bit, and they're forcing the XP to be spread between them. I mean, I guess he's still finding something for himself on the side camps, but even AA is, level 4. I guess it's just going pretty good. I feel like, Hellraiser's getting a lot out of this laning period, but now smoked up xgame, hover around this mid lane, even Bat getting in on this one. He's only level 4 and obviously no lasso, but feel a little desperate to try to make a kill happen here in the mid lane. Zeus, though, has pretty good positioning. He is very far to the south of this lane, knowing that top has been missing. Ogre shows himself, but by that point, he's already in a good position where he just easily walks down, and it's going to be 2 now ganks from xgame where they just can't get what they want.
Yeah, exactly. The Ogre is going to be sitting here at level 2 for quite some time. Very unfortunate for him. He's not going to be able to build up those multicasts.
They might get AA here, though. They'll bait out the 6-minute rune, potentially. It's going to be scouted out from Equal, and now Reeves, getting a bit bloody blocked right there. AA just walks away. It's like, oh, fine, take the rune. No problem. Hands it over.
And it's worthless one, too. Regeneration for a full HP mana Ogre. Just unfortunate for them that all their timing and rotations just really haven't come up much. And as far as the early game CS, the PA and Void are essentially tied out, which for the first like 35 minutes of this game, PA's farm matters more. She's going to be able to get more out of it. Looks like she's going for that early Dominator, and that's going to allow her to maybe stack up the camps to farm that out more actively. In the meantime, you were talking about Dread. He's gone for a lot of pulls here, and it is profiting him substantially. He's past level 4.5. The AA just hit 5. These are heroes that can do immense work when they hit level 6, and they're going to have it sooner rather than later.
They just keep finding the farm they want. They're happy to play this early laning phase extremely patient, just given the laning scenarios they've been given. I mean, Nature's Prophet's pressured a bit top lane, but he's still doing pretty good. He's 7-0, and he's about to be level 5, but he hasn't died. He's avoided a couple of engagements and is still holding his own. So as xgame continue to just kind of put in the legwork, trying to run up and down lanes, finding engagements, the farm continues to build up here for Hellraisers. So they're off to a reasonable start. Only just a 1k net worth lead, but without any sort of towers or much kills, I'd have to say they're doing pretty good.
So, hand Midas up for the Faceless Void, going to be able to catapult him forward as far as farm goes. It does limit his solo kill potential a little bit. Like if he had a Mask of Madness here instead of a Midas, he probably would be able to go on Gorak with that Chronosphere. But as it stands, he's still going to be able to get reliable gold from those Midas transmutes. That's going to be nice for him. In the meantime, they're just kind of playing it back a little bit. Until they get blinks up on the Batride and the Magnus, they really can't do anything other than go for like Chronosphere solo kills. So I guess it's perfectly fine to kind of play it passive for the moment and look to build up more farm. This Midas will long-term turn into an MKB for him, which he sorely needs to bring down this PA.
You get a nice little D ward there in the mid lane, does Hellraisers. Dread does adventure out from that bottom lane, now at level 5 on the support. He's doing with the 3 levels in Wave of Terror build, and now he's going to see Equal here. Equal is going to be able to grab the bounty root in his face, and he will step on back immediately. Ogre wasn't quite close enough to look to get in on anything, but should have been fine regardless. So now it's Hellraisers beginning to adventure out a bit from their usual laning phase. Xgame, as they progress towards the mid game, they get those blinks, they get the chrono up, they get the RP up, and their lasso up. That's when they're going to look to really shine, because their early game lane aggression didn't really happen the way they wanted, so they're going to have to really double it up in the mid game to make up for it.
Yeah, this Wave of Terror max build is actually really a point of emphasis for the PA to do work. Everybody else does a ton of magic damage, so the only one that really benefits from the Wave of Terror being maxed out instead of something like the Magic Missile or the Aura is going to be that Phantom Assassin, and they're trying to put her in an active position very early on. So she'll probably pick up another fighting item very shortly. The Helmet Dominator is great for just general effective HP. You get the lifesteal, you get some nice armor, and she's usually going to be full HP entering an engagement. We also see this dominated neutral, or sorry,
Didn't
not
even
neutral,
do the stack,
dire
unfortunately. But
I mean, it's not really unfortunate because he only needs like a double stack at a time. Until he gets like a Battle Fury up, he's not going to be able to handle the triple.
That's true.
Without help,
and
at least.
At this early on, it could be scouted out from Xgame in their early movement, so they'll play it slow for now. But I mean, PA, man, top of the net worth right now, and top of CS. Next contender is going to be Mantis here, who does now have that Midas, so his farm is going to continue to build up really, really nicely. But of course, that blur will persist through from the PA, so feeling that kind of a pressure, knows he needs to farm up, get the essentials underway if he wants to get a Mask of Madness, Maelstrom, what have you, but eventually he might need to consider getting that MKB before he can really get the hard right-click out there, especially on someone like PA.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not going to have a Hex this game, not for a very long time, so that's going to be of the utmost importance in order for them to actually feel confident and
I guess they have the cleave, right? The cleave would go through. The cleave from Empower?
Yeah, it would, but I mean, that's generally not going to be enough to, just with a multicast and a bunch of cleaving auto attacks, it's not generally going to be enough to bring down a hero that's life sealing and critting you and all this good stuff.
Yeah, praying for a good cleave inside of a bubble where they'll hit a support nearby to do some reasonable damage on PA, I suppose, but it's a bit too far-fetched, and for a team like Xgame who pretty much put together a crazy team fight synergy. Now, thankfully, it's going to be an Invis root grabbed up there from your Magnus as he swifts right through bottom. But as you see, AA throwing together level 10 now. The Ice Blast, the Snowballs, the Basketballs going to be shot now from all over the place. This is a good setup for your AA to really take it to him. And Voodoo Restoration, which is leveled up here on Witch Doctor, is not going to be as significant in trying to aid about anything. He's just been very persistent on trying to babysit the Void early in the game, and very selfless play from your Witch Doctor, so that leads me to believe maybe the Ogre might be the one trying to bring in farm. I'm just trying to see if that seems to be Xgame's farming pattern, where they let one support be much more selfless, kind of the same way you see like EG, you know, like PPDs, like that position 8, while Zai is a heavy farming support. It seems that xgame kind of roll with a similar, you know, style.
Yeah, they have a similar mentality, but at the same time, like, nobody's playing the sacrificial lame here entirely. Like, Ogre's still going to be able to get to what he needs. He's clearing out these pesky mud golems that Whatafaka doesn't want to have to deal with because he's got the brute force right click. But yeah, otherwise they're just kind of sharing is caring and making an overall team-wide progression, and that's the important thing. But yeah, I mean, the Witch Doctor should be able to pull ahead. After the Ogre gets his Tranquils and Soul Ring, that's pretty much all he needs to just play the Ward Bitch from that point forward. And of course, the Witch Doctor can scale really hard, as you mentioned. So looking for that, but I don't know if it's going to be out fast enough unless they go for like a kill here. They have a good opportunity for Chronosphere. They've had quite a few, but they have yet to go for the Chrono Death Ward combo on this Nature Prophet, and maybe for the better because there's a smoke gate coming.
Oh, here we go. They're going to go make the move instead on Faceless Void. Can he do anything about it? He can't. Before Witch Doctor can even get a cask off, they immediately take down that Faceless Void. It's going to be Dread who gets the first official first blood of the game for Hellraisers. Nice movement right there from them to be able to get a quick grab on most prized target on the map. Doesn't look like it takes a whole lot of effort either, so bit of a misplay there from xgame to not spot the missing supports from the bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, they've been in the jungle so long, it's easy to lose track of them. Like, just they've been, the whole area there has been dark, and they've been hiding out off the map for a long time. You can't suspect they're MIA forever, but at the end of the day, the Void dies before ever getting a chrono kill, and that's something that usually should not happen. You use your first Chronos here, you get a kill, and then if you die, at least you've got something to take away from it. The Midas is there, so I guess that's something, but you need so much more. The Ice Blast will come mid just as a harassing tool. And honestly, it's going to get very frustrating for this Faceless Void. It looks like he is going for that Mask of Madness after Midas, and what we're going to see more and more is him getting Ice Blasted, and that Mask of Madness hurting more than helping.
Yeah, really needs to invest in so much farm time, almost similar to how he did that Naga in the previous game. It's also what we see from like Sneaky Nyx Assassin's TC's farm build with Void is so farm intensive. He actually usually goes a Battle Fury, but he really likes to build up first couple of items before he really looks to engage in a lot of team fights without risking getting taken down too easily. I mean, it's not worth it if you make a good jump and pick off and then your fight ends up going very sour and you lose most from your team after this initial start. So he's hoping to really bring it together and get the ammunition before he brings it into the fray.
Oh,
but
look at this stack. There was frantic pinging from the side of xgame, so they go ahead and go for the smoke play, and they might be able to show up here and maybe take half the experience away. But as far as fighting it out, they're all grouped up. They're ready to rumble 4v3, and Magnus does have his blink. Batright does have his blink. They need the initiation to be on point, but for now, they have no vision. The Observer Ward here, I love it, but it's not the one that he could be placing over here, and as a result, they don't have that vision into that juncture.
And once again, it's going to be xgame kind of scouting out, hoping to get a pick-off opportunity, and they don't. It's a lot of mileage where they're not really getting a lot out of it, while Hellraisers now have this farm party happening in the lane where their PA is going to be picking up the majority of the last hits. Top, we're going to see a small little tift right there for the room, but it is going to be Stallcat who picks it up, takes it right back to that mid lane, and now you got a Magnus with a blink and RP, which was used. I didn't even see when he used it, but now he's charging away, will avoid the Ice Blast. But did you happen to see when he used it? Was it a misuse? I didn't even notice.
I believe he tried to use it on the Zeus, but he must have hit dirt. I think Ninja must have blinked out of it when he went, because he definitely didn't use it on the 3 heroes that were farming camps. He didn't use it on the Nature Prophet that was top, so Zeus is the only real target that could have been. But I have to be honest, I did not catch that either, and it seems like it was just a mistaken timing from Stallcat.
Which would pretty much be the theme of the game so far. And that makes you nervous if you're an xgame fan, is continuing to come a bit short with some of these engagements, and now they'll wait for the RP to come together. We have yet to see an RP kill. We have to see a chrono kill. Big use of a Death Ward chrono. I mean, these are periods of time when I thought with xgame's draft they would be able to assert themselves and make pickoffs happen, but with a score 2-0, you know, well in favor of Hellraisers, who can have a very, very strong late game on the back of this PA. I don't know, it's a bit nerve-wracking. After they already just farmed the jungle, now they have a huge Ancient stack to farm. So the farm just continues to mount here for them.
Stop, collaborate, and listen. They're going to be farming away so much for him. He doesn't have a Battle Fury. Like, if he's able to take all these stacks without a Battle Fury, and he can just go for this battle build, where he goes for this Basher, he's maybe going to look at a Satanic next, he's just going to be able to dominate the map. I mean, Abyssal Blade is also really good, but a little greedy, as he's still dying to Chrono if he doesn't have a Satanic. People wonder why the PA doesn't go for the tried and true build of BKB, and it's because it's essentially worthless this game. Like, you're going to stop Cask and Ogre. and then everything else is just going to blow you apart. Chronosphere, RP, and the lasso.
Exactly. Probably needs to build up at least some sort of survivability to withstand those two ultimates. Not only supporting less than 1k, it's not going to cut it. So do you think that he's going to have to consider investing into something to add a little more to the HP pool, or is he going to have to rely more?
I would rush Titanic here, just straight up. You can go Titanic Abyssal, and you have everything you need to fight in anytime until the Void picks up MKB, which is still quite a long way off.
And they also, if they win like any sort of relative team engagement, they can do Roche. I feel like they're going to be pretty comfortable. I mean, they have a Nature's Prophet, and of course the wave being maxed out onto Dread's Vengeful Spirit. With all that minus armor, Roche could go down pretty quick. They're actually making a hunt here, going for Bat. Wadafaka easily taken down. The vision being provided there from Zeus allows them to blink on forward and just right-click at home, and now they're putting their sights on the bottom lane. Stalkate is going to be able to blink away from that, but a good grab right there from Hellraisers taking down Wadafaka.
Yeah. And now it's a Batrider with a Blink Dagger who is being killed before he gets the kill. Like, that just doesn't happen in a game of Dota, but here it is. Ninja going on Ogre with the help of Gorek, and that is going to be an easy pick into an easy tier 1.
This is feeling like Hellraisers are just kind of one step ahead and currently putting on a nice clinic here. XGame not meeting their quota, does get RP there. It's all for an AA though, but they need something. They need some momentum. They need to get a kill on the board, and they will get it. And it is going to be Mantis who picks it up and now goes for a second kill on the Afro Ninja with a Chrono. Does he have the right click? Certainly will with the assistance of that Shockwave. So look at this, XGame, just as we begin to criticize, they are able to bounce back, but they do lose their tower, and now they could lose more. Potential engagement, Madness trying to right click at home. Nice lasso is going to catch. They take down the PA, and now the Sprout on the backhand lines. It's going to be Furion who's trying to get away. Mantis is going on a right-clicking tear through each one by one. It's a double kill, though, for Dread as he gets another, but Dread could go down, trying to take down Mantis. Does get the kill, and it's a triple kill for Dread. But now, it's going to be Reeves, locked between two. They have the burst. Can we see a quad on Dread? No, we can't, but Dread will be able to assist in taking him down with the aid of Afo Ninja. It looked like a buyback from him, and a well worth it one, as they were able to take down the majority of XGame. That is a huge, heated fight that we've been waiting for.
Yeah, he didn't really get to make use of his ultimate so much, but I mean, just absolutely exploding there with huge amounts of damage. I mean, they brought everybody down to maybe 40, 50 HP each, and then Vengeance just like, have an Urn of Shadows, have a Wave of Terror, and just gets easy kills off of that one. It did split up the fight a little bit, so obviously Arts took more pressure than he wanted to, but end of the day, they're up 9-4 after that buyback. They make a great response to XGame's first real movement, but they also were able to at least get some points on the board. They go up from 0 kills to 4, so at least they have something to write home about. But I also want to mention this Faces Voids build. He didn't go for the Mask of Madness. Like I said, I feel there's a real weakness to Mask of Madness against AA, especially with so much nuke against you. So going for this Dominator actually gives him more HP rather than taking away from it.
Yep, and he's going to blitz right for what looks like that MKB. Wants to be able, he's doing the most possible out of that right click on whatever target it may be. And we saw a lot of strong right click coming out from him in that previous fight, so getting a hold of that more damage could certainly help. But at that same moment, an uncontested Roche is done by the Hellraisers, and it is going to be PA who picks that up, takes it right back towards the bottom lane. It looks like she might be building forward to what appears to be an AC. Top lane, though, they're going to make it go and got him. They jump forward, they commit the lasso for this one. Your AA should be able to be easily brought down and shattered into little ice bits under the fire of Wadafaka. Good grab from them on that little support. Catching AA as he continues to try to find some solo XP. Would love to be able to build up that Ice Blast and also build up that Agnum Scepter. They just punish him for it. Yeah. But this, the Aegis on PA is extremely scary right now. He used the double damage turn to clear it up. Just a nice clean rush for them. But this 2-life Phantom Assassin, they don't have an answer to it. They have a lot of tools to bring down PA once, but to bring her down twice, it's nigh impossible. Skullcat will go in for a Skewer and a Reverse Polarity, but they just can't follow it up with anything. The Chronosphere will come out, but Arts is on the outside. Only Dread will be going down and emanating that aura to the opposition. Oh, the cast, though, holds PA there, but she still has the Aegis to work with. It's a 1-for-1 for now, but Skullcat is going to get right-clicked home. PA still lives with that first life. And now getting 80 out from Company, that life does go down. Oh, Equal desperate to try to heal up, will not be getting away. Gorek with the double kill on his Nature's Prophet, as it is going to be a huge overtaking in this top lane for the Hellraisers. XGame are going to be forced to pull out the retreat horn, get on back and away, and have to sacrifice this top tier 1 tower. Hellraisers come out big with that fight, with about a 1k swing towards their way. Their net worth begins to enhance towards the 5k mark altogether.
Yeah, and it's very difficult to come back from this position. Obviously, the Hand of Midas will bring Void very close to the MKB here. He did live through that fight, so that's nice and convenient for him, but they need so much to actually bring down this PA, especially twice in that instance. She's going to have her AC finish up very quickly. She's actually going to be able to clear out these Ancients no problem, just going with the Dominator with the right clicks, and yeah, that Blur, of course, adding to her effective HP. So it's going to be all on Mantis here very shortly to finish this off. He does have one Javelin on the Courier, will pick up another in just 200 gold, but that's the only thing that's keeping them in this game, is the hope of MKB to right-click down this PA.
And I gotta tell you, big props to Dread on this VS. He's gotten so many levels. That was a level 2 swap in the top lane, and you don't usually see that this early on from your Vengeful Spirit, but he's been finding a lot all over the place, and working with those creeps and uncontested in the early game allowed Vengeful Spirit to get to that level 5 at such a good timing, and Dread's benefiting a lot from it. They get the Roche with the aided Wave of Terror level, mid lane, or top lane, they get that huge swap to help, you know, leading things off, which they ended up coming out on top of that fight, and the supports are finding a lot of farm here on the side of Hellraisers.
Invisibility.
They continue to inch closer. Godham's going to have an Aghanim Scepter in a reasonable time, and we'll have to see what XGame are going to have to do. They do pick up a Invis here on Mantis, but they're not going to put it to any sort of use. So instead, we'll just take the time to farm with those Ancients. But even this little spy, look at this little mushroom head, just constantly bringing in the intel for the Hellraiser squad.
Yeah. We're going to see actually Thunder God's Wrath come through here, and it's going to be assisting in the pickoff on this Witch Doctor. Pretty important to bring him down, as he is going to be farming up towards some big items pretty soon, looking for maybe the Aghanim Scepter, or I don't know, I guess the BKB would be great against the Vengeful Spirit, especially when she has a 10-second ultimate. But nevertheless, a kill is a kill. That'll put Zeus close to his Bloodstone. Actually, he has a Soul Ring, so yeah, he's got it on the Courier here. Actually, noting an item on the Magnus here, Stallcat did pick up a Shadow Amulet. I'm curious if they're actually going to keep that as an amulet instead of a blade, and try to use the active effect on the Witch Doctor whenever he uses his ulti.
Oh, jump forward. They get the Blink Lasso on the Godham, and they'll get him. AA will go down, but at that same moment, without a lasso, Hellraisers making it go on top lane. It is going to be the skewer back, though, on Gorek, but just like that, your Magnus immediately taken down. Now Mantis comes on in. It's going to be bashed at home. He does manage to get off the Chrono, though, and is not going to be able to get the swap. Is going to be there, and now Mantis has to run out. Multi, though, going to be catching Gorok, and they burst him down with the Flame Break. Oh, unfortunately, your Ogre is going to go down. It ends up being a 3-for-2 favor for Hellraisers again, and they'll get another objective, the Tier 2 follow-up. It just continues to get better and better for Hellraisers. They take fights, they take objectives, one after the other.
XGame made an unfortunate tactical error in the fact that the RP and the Lasso were both not on the Phantom Assassin. You just can't afford to do that. If you tried to RP and Lasso or you could get a 4-man RP, but if the PA is not involved in that, you're gonna be hurting. And Tez has shown them why. He's able to right-click everything down. There's now a ton of damage in every single fight. I mean, this guy's got 13,500 net worth. This is absolutely insane for the PA here. 24 minutes without a Battle Fury, just taking it really. They putting the Assassin and Phantom Assassin, getting 4 kills, 5 assists, and he's just going to be racking it up from there, looking for either the Titanic or the Abyssal Next. Actually hits on Wada, but doesn't get the bash. Yeah, but
they go back, and now you're going to be visiting the high ground, though. She does have Blink Strike, can go right back down, but poor Bat. Yeah, I regret my decision immediately, as if you're a Bat Rider at that point. And she can get down easily at some point, but they're first going to try to make a go on Mantis. They didn't even need the PA for this one. That Global coming on through. Nature's Prophet at the aid and ready with the Wrath of Nature and the teleportation. And of course, Zeus can't escape heaven as now he moves forward. Big burst there on your Witch Doctor, and during that time, they do get the aid. Dread comes through and is able to help out that PA. They take down 2, including the Faceless Void, and it's looking like another game where XGame are just going to be digging deep for any sort of defense on trying to fight back.
It's just, there's so much damage flying out at this point. The Nature's Prophet is about to hit level 16, which obviously gives him the max out Wrath of Nature. Zeus is already there, doing a lot of magic damage with Thunder God's Wrath. And he actually does go for the Shadow Blade on Stallcat, but like, you have the Lightning Bolt and the Thunder God's Wrath. No matter what, the Invis is only going to be an initiation tool. It's not going to allow you to do much in the fight against the Zeus.
The Shadow Blade Magnus. I got to be honest with you, Blaze, I don't see that a whole often, but he's really counting on a good setup with that RP with something like that. I mean, not even a Force Staff? You don't think a Force Staff would have been something a little bit better? Could force people to a Chrono.
He's looking for a little bit of damage himself. Like, he knows the Void can't carry this game on his own, so he kind of goes for the semi-carry Magnus, where he gets a little bit of right-click there, and he'll do a nice little burst with the Empower on himself, but yeah, I don't think it's going to be what they need to win the game, actually.
I hope he doesn't bank on using that to escape. Yeah, like you said, with the Zeus on the team, you're not going to be invis very long whatsoever wherever you are. So with that, though, Zeus has a Bloodstone, 12 charges already on it. He's got a lot of sustain for himself, and your little flimsy Zeus is pretty damn big at this point. About 1,700 life points for him. But here we go, X-Game. Pulling out another one of their all-or-nothing kind of a plays. They smoke up as a full 5-man unit, and they invade the Hellraisers jungle, and they're looking to get a hold of someone. Afro Ninja's close, but he's just on the way out at this point. And as they ping, they keep pushing forward. He doesn't stop whatsoever, and this could be another moment where X-Game come up short.
I don't know. They have a pretty good flank here. They could
get multiple people. Oh, immediate blink out from Zeus. There's going to be the lasso. It does catch, but the swap right thereafter from Dread. What a player. Now, he might go down regardless, but they will trade 1 for 1. No, 1 for 2. Mantis goes down immediately, and Magnus falls shortly after. Hellraisers just swarm the grounds, and before you can even blink your eye, 4 have dropped on X-Game. That just went ugly so damn quick. I couldn't even play-by-play it, Blaze.
Dude, the Zeus did 2,800 damage in approximately 4 seconds. Like, just Lightning Bolt, Arc Lightning, Thunder God's Wrath, the passive hitting on all 5 heroes when they're at max HP. Like, he just tore them apart, and the Wrath of Nature and the right click to the Prophet did 1,600 to contribute as well. The PA wasn't even involved hardly at all. Like, they just got blown apart from an overfarmed Zeus and Furion, and the interesting thing is that they've itemized well against it. They've gotten a casual cloak on 3 of their heroes. They've got backtracks on the Void. But end of the day, it's not enough for them to survive against the onslaught of an overfarmed, over-leveled Zeus and Furion.
This is just perfect for Hellraisers, and it becomes pretty apparent that X-Game were banking on a lot of aggression in the early game, like an early Chrono, the early RP, and the early Lasso, and hell, even just some early ganking movements. That they were counting on those kills to come through and being able to snowball off of that. But when those kills didn't happen and those pickoffs ended up coming up short, they continued to fall further and further behind. And Hellraisers are now at a point when they look pretty damn unstoppable. PA now going to be taking away that farm from the X-Game jungle. Has her Reaver getting pretty dang close to that Satanic that we were hoping for, as she pretty much already has it. And now your PA is going to be, even if you land all your big ultimates on her, she's able to just pop that Satanic, turn back, and just kind of easily be able to bring all that life back. I'm really curious to see X-Game what their game plan could be. As Roche is up, and Hellraisers are probably going to look for it before they make another push towards the base. Maybe X-Game can put up a reasonable Roche defense. At this point, that seems to be one of the things that could be their lone hope.
Yeah. Now, it is worth noting, well, Zeus in a little bit of trouble, but yeah, it is worth noting that Whatafaka did snipe the Courier in the middle of the map, took away the Aghanim Scepter from Venge, so he's still only sporting the point booster for now. He'll have that complete once the Courier respawns in a minute and a half, and yeah, for now, the Roche is kind of that demilitarized zone. Neither one really wants to commit to it without knowing exactly where everybody else is on the map, and in the meantime, yeah, Gorek with his global TP ability is going to be able to farm pretty much wherever he wants until that fight breaks loose.
And sporting the Shadow Blade himself and Sheepstick, he's very much farmed and ready. He had gotten his own Midas and was well prepared for the late game. Any point when Void thought he was going to get to really rain his own terror, it's not going to happen. And now he's desperate to try to throw together a BKB because Nature's Prophet will always be there to shut him down, and he's going to continue to take the full wrath from Zeus. So this BKB is a crucial grab for your Faceless Void, and might be one of their last hurrahs to try to bring this one back. They are looking towards bottom. Gotham has been someone they've been able to pick off, but they always get punished. Can they do it this time without getting punished? They blink forward, they get the lasso, they take him down. No punishment. X-Game just happy to get a kill on the board for themselves and a little bit of something.
With 2 ultimates. They just burned 2 ultimates. No RP, no Chrono, so there's like
immediately Hellraiser's like, sweet, Roche.
Well, thanks for that, I guess. And if they try to fight, I think they can honestly fight 3v5 here. They do get scattered out by taking Napalm. There's a flame break onto the cliff. Artez gonna have to Phantom Strike to Dread, but yeah, otherwise at least they're able to take half of Roshan's HP with no fear.
Can go down. I like the harassment. It forces him back, but what if they just tempted the idea of maybe waiting and then using Whatafaka's Flame Break to try to snag the kill and Aegis rather. And this is nice though, having the Bat Rider on Dire's side. HR really need to be sure that they can get this Roche uncontested because that Bat Rider is one of the best at being able to take back a Roche. And jump forward here, PA makes a go, and immediately Mantis returns back with a Chrono, and there's going to be the swap from Dread. So now Dread goes on in. is bursted pretty heavily, but they fire right back and burst him down with a crit. Mantis falls, and a desperate RP skewer coming through, but Magnus is going to fall shortly thereafter, very low, but a nice multi in the meantime does catch from Reeves. And now Zeus trying to burst down what they can. It's xgame spreading all over the place, trying to get away from this one. They do manage to TP out, and surprisingly, Hellraisers are the one coming up short in this fight. They lose their PA, they lose their Dread VS, and xgame, though they lose their Faceless Void, they get the better of it. But at this point in the game, when they're behind so far, the rubber band is very much real here, Blaze. They get like 26, almost 3K out of that fight.
Yeah, that was a pretty big mistake from the PA there. The timing is milliseconds, but essentially he Phantom Strike and then he hit Satanic, and he got that instant crit without lifestealing off of it. Well, he lifestealed the basic amount, which is, what, 25%? But it could have been a 200% lifesteal, and that would have put him to full HP. But instead, he was sitting at half HP when he got RP'd, and he did go down. So just a slight timing issue with that Satanic, and it cost him his life, giving a lot of gold away to xgame. I'm surprised they don't go Roche off of that. They still have the ability to take it pretty quickly, and it obviously was at half HP when Hellraisers left the pit. But of course, the Ice Blast with Ags infusing it is going to be kind of dissuading them to group up too much. So for now, it's just spread the map once again. Not even taking the tier 1 tower guys. They'll let the creeps do their bidding in that regard, and they'll just kind of go back to farming and playing it safe.
Yep, and we'll see. That's the most promising fight that pretty much xgame have had this whole game. As the net worth slowly dips back their way. They would love to get one more big fight, maybe a Roche follow-up, and that might be the platform for them to really look to bring this game back. But Hellraisers, man, they get overzealous in one fight. They could be learning their lesson and not letting like something that happen again. And now Batrider with your BKB, that still won't stop the vengeful swap, which we've seen Dread pull out many a time now. And with that Agnums, that swap will be at the ready 2, maybe even 3 times in some of these fights. But here we go. Now Bat scouting out the Roche area, jumps forward, does get the lasso. Afo Ninja going to be pulled right into Harm's path, and they just immediately skewer and blast him down. Speaking of blast, the Ice Blast will come in, but the job has already been done. Batrider, though, very low. Could end up going down even in the base here, as we keep an eye on him.
He'll live, but if they had any damage from the Nature's Prophet, he would have done. Oh, okay, for that, for that.
That global.
Oh, his Bloodstone charges. He didn't. I noticed that he didn't have buyback ult, so I'm like, okay, Zeus is out of the picture, but you can't count out that large stack of Bloodstone. He's going to have a quick respawn, and there you go.
So he gets his redemption very nicely on Batrider, and so what looked like a promising start from xgame is not looking so good. RP, they do catch PA with it, but there's going to be the swap. Mantis hunts down that PA and jumps him with the Chrono. And now, Mantis is going to eat the Ice Blast, but they take down the PA. Now out for the count, does have buyback, but not going to be here in the fight. It's going to be Zeus and company trying to retreat on away from this one, but they are able to burst down Mantis. Mantis pulls out his own bike pack and will immediately TP back into the fight for this one. Hellraisers want to get out, but they can't get away. Mantis is going to jump forward. The swap back from Dread will put him right up and above, but they put their sights onto Afo Ninja. They do end up taking down Dread, and Mantis can't quite catch up, turns back, now trying to make it go on Goric. Goric could get stunned and bashed and will go down with the right click. And now they go forward. Multicast is going to be there. They also finish out and take down Goric and Zeus, and now, oh, Zeus.
Triple backtrack.
Oh my god, he's backtracking so much. Ogre does end up going down to Zeus. Oh, Mantis. Very low life. No, not backtracking this one. So Afo Ninja is able to zap that one home, puts himself on a killing spree, blink away from the cast. Can he juke and jive and take down Witch Doctor here? Uh-oh, here comes Batrider. Now, moving on forward, the blink back, Zeus goes down, and holy Toledo, what is that, a 5 for 5? No, only the 1 buyback from the Faceless Void Mantis there. They take down all 5 from Hellraisers. It's a reasonable gold exchange, but leaves it almost at a stalemate as far as what each team gets out of it. But hey.
Yeah. The dieback from the Void obviously hurt his progression quite a bit. He's still stuck with his BKB, MKB Dominator, which is alright, but it's still, he's going to need more as his BKB charges start to dwindle. But man, did they execute that fight well, and I have to say Hellraisers kind of executed it poorly. The swap from Dread pulled the PA out of the RP, but it was before the Chrono. You can't use your swap to do anything other than break lasso or break somebody out of Chrono, because otherwise the PA is just going to get gunned down as we saw. So as tanky as she is with the AC Satanic, it's still just 1 Chronosphere is all it takes for Faceless Void to actually 1v1 her effectively. So that Blur passive, of course, doing nothing once he picks up the True Strike of the Monkey King bar. So they're going to be able to take up Roche. They're going to be able to clear out the ward. And this is kind of what we saw really early in this game. When PA and Venge duoed Roche, like at the 12-minute mark or whatever it was, and they immediately went top. Now we're in another situation where xgame, they have amazing cooldowns to control the PA. They have a ton of kill potential against her with RP, with Chrono, with Lasso. Venge obviously only able to swap one of those. But once you have a second life on the hero, then these cooldown-dependent heroes from xgame just do nothing to her second life.
Really like the call there from Hellraisers to make the go on Roche. They see Whatafaka's Batrider farming the top lane, and they feel comfortable enough to do it pretty dang quick, even if they had possibly vision in the area. And well, they do take down that Roche, and now they're looking to take down the tier 2 here in the bottom lane, as it's going to be an exchange of towers. xgame get that tier 1 on the top lane finally, but now already looking to press this bottom lane. PA moving on forward, still nursing about 3,300 gold and has that buyback at the ready. Now they break the high ground in. Now with an Aegis, they feel very comfortable. Look at Dread's positioning
right now. Like, the Venge can get nowhere near this, but he knows that he's got this swap ready to go whenever
so far back
under the gun.
Huge range to work with as well. It's going to be over there on the right-hand side. Whatafaka trying to get back onto the high ground, but will he burst it down before he can do so? But they jump on in. Got him saved at the last second from Dread. Afro Ninja, though, not going to be so lucky. Taken down right there. Jump forward. RP does catch the two of them. Mantis is in an awkward position where he can't really right-click as much as he likes. Put into a corner, and they're trying to retreat out. Dread not going to be able to get away from this one, and now Stallcat going up and above. Got him right there. Death Ward is only going to be able to finish him off. The PA now coming in to clean up. Crits home and takes down Witch Doctor. Now Whatafaka moves back from the dead, and, well, is going to be right-clicked at home. Few more. Gets it done right there. Goric with that Desolator. Now has right-click of his own, and he's able to take down another. Mantis out, no buyback. Batrider out, no buyback. And same for your Witch Doctor. Allows them for easily open up on these racks. Bottom lane, it's going to be Hellraisers that clean out another set of racks in the xgame base. They move forward. They're going for the crushing blow on this one. Nice bash is going to be there as he locks them down, but can't finish him off. But Goric finds his own kill, taking down Stallcat, the Magnus, and now they just go right for the Jugular Blaze. It looks like Hellraisers are going to be taking this game number 2.
Yep, there it is. GG not even coming out xgame. They just got absolutely destroyed. The road is gone, and the contract has been fulfilled here. Man, that PA, I like the strategy xgame had in that last fight where they're like, kill everybody but the PA. We can't kill that PA twice, 3 times if you count the Satanic. That essentially gives her a full extra life bar. So they just try to kite her. They RP her, they screw her around, they get the napalm on her, and they're just like, keep her out of the fight. And for the first half of the fight, she didn't do anything. So, I mean, they had a good idea, but end of the day, if you're committing 2 or 3 heroes to just disabling her, then the Void's all on his lonesome trying to make things happen with the Chronosphere. So they only end up getting... Did they even kill anybody there? I know the AA got swapped out really low, and in the end, he pretty much got nothing out of his engagement. The Aegis was the backbreaker in both scenarios. The 2 Roches that fell were what put Hellraisers so far ahead of what xgame could bring with this draft, and that's where Hellraisers take it away.
Hellraisers look good. Really hard to say who could be the MVP for that one. If I had to pick a name, though, Dread's Vengeful Spirit looked really good. Had a lot of great farm early on, and we saw some clutch swaps coming out from him. But overall, as a team, they got the job done. Even Zeus just contributing so much globally with Goric, and all together, they get the job done. They were the favorites coming in this one, and they really show why. Unfortunately, though, for xgame, they fall short. They get 0-2 for the day. That puts them down pretty low in the charts, which we can look over how things have worked so far today. Now, mind you, these lists have not been updated from today's results. So Hellraisers, who were already at the top, sporting a 3-1 record, will now advance up to 4-1. And for Team xgame, who started today at 1-2, are now going to be at 1-4. So they are in Strug City. But we got lots more Dota coming your way, folks, and if you want to take a brief look at the schedule, coming up next, we got Euro PB going to be taking on Empire. That's going to be coming up in what looks like about 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so, so sit tight, and if you like what you heard, you could take the time to check us out on our Twitters. Myself at KotLGuy, and of course Blaze, thanks again for joining me on a late notice. He'll hang out with me for some of the rest of the games. We'll find out for sure, but Blaze, thank you again. Catch him and show him your love over on his Twitter at BlazeCasting. We'll be back in just a moment, folks. Sit tight.